I want to speak to myself a year ago. So you just got out of a long-term relationship. You feel strong, but you're making decisions that you shouldn't have made, hanging out with people that you shouldn't be. You're essentially using actions to process your emotions that you've blocked. I want to just tell you that 1 year later, you're getting married to the love of your life in 1 month. And he is such a wonderful, supportive, kind person and mirrors back to you what you put out into the world. And it's possible. It's possible to go from, why was I with that person? I don't trust myself. I keep dating the wrong person. I keep recreating childhood narratives through my relationships. To, oh my God, I love myself. I am detached from outcomes. I get to have a good partner. And I get to experience love in a healthy, secure way. That's the transformation that I've made in a year, and I want you to know that it's possible for you too. So if you're at a very frustrated place in your life where you've done a lot of the work, right? You've kind of figured out what attachment is, like you're like, hey, hi, I'm blah blah and I have anxious attachment. You have some awareness of what's going on psychologically. This video is for you, okay? Let's dive into how I did it and how you can recreate it too, so that you get to be with a kind person, but also love yourself and know you're worthy of that on top of it all. So 1 year ago, I got out of a long-term relationship and I was with that person for 4 years. We were engaged. The person had proposed to me and then took it back and kept me in limbo for 6 months. He was a covert narcissist. I completely did not trust myself by the end of the relationship. I started to realize what was happening maybe in the last 6 months of it, when the facade started to wear off and I realized, oh my God, this person is hurting me over and over and over. And I kind of fell out of love with them in a sense and wanted to. So essentially the person did something. They got on a dating app. Someone messaged me, told me they saw it, sent me the screenshots, and I ended the relationship. And so coming out of that, I wasn't bad and I wasn't good. I was very angry and just ready to be out and free. When you have been experiencing covert narcissistic abuse or narcissistic abuse, it is very taxing. And so there was a sense of freedom in it. But there was also this sense of fear of, hey, I don't trust myself to make good decisions in dating. And that's a scary place to be at. So I spent the last year dating a lot. And a lot of times it wasn't necessarily even getting past a first date. I went on a lot of first dates and understood what I really wanted. The first step that you have to make, right, is make sure that you're emotionally available. That's the first step in all of it, which is sitting with the pain of what you dealt with. It's funny, the grieving process that I went through looked like I grieved the relationship that I thought I had. I grieved the effort that I put in. And if you're anything like me, I put everything into my relationships and I would have done anything for that person. And I had to sit down and grieve that because I really thought I was going to marry that person. I showed them something that kind of made me feel sad is like I showed them my high school. I showed them where I grew up. I shared so much of myself and my soul with that person. And for that to end, that's something that I needed to grieve. So letting yourself grieve the loss of a friendship the person, the relationship, and your effort is step number one, of course. When you're ready to start dating again, it's starting to see patterns. And this is something that you need to get really good at if you want to find the right person. So you may not know exactly what you're looking for yet. Go on a date, experience the date. Actually, there's a step that comes before this that you're gonna love. It's glow up. Have a little glow up. Make yourself feel and look fantastic. So I kind of got a new style at that time. I was just like, I absorbed a ton of YouTube videos about feminine energy, and I got very in tune with myself and the way that I felt really good. So when I would present myself to these dates, I felt very confident about who I was, what I looked like, how I presented myself. I learned how to talk to people. Like I listened to an audiobook called, oh God, hold on. The book is How to Talk to Anyone by Leal. I will put a little image of the book right there. So it was that book, and it was another book about how to win friends and influence people was the second book. And so I read that, understood a little bit of how to present myself in a strong way. So I felt very confident, essentially. So I go to these dates very confident, and I just experienced it. I just was in the moment. I really enjoyed myself, and I had a really good relationship with myself, and I was detached from any outcome. It wasn't, this one's gonna be the one, this one's gonna be the one. It was, I don't know anything. I know very little off of a dating profile. I used all of them. I used Hinge, Bumble, and Tinder, because sometimes with Tinder, there are people looking for relationships. I met some nice people off of there. And so I used all the dating apps, met all the people. Something that I did that I thought was helpful was I enjoyed the apps where the men could come to you. I do kind of believe in the femininity movement, and you'll notice that throughout my videos. I do really like the idea of polarity in relationships. So I like the idea of a man pursuing and chasing a woman. Not to an extreme way or anything, but I think there's some validity to that. So I would actually pay for Bumble or Tinder so that I could see who liked me. And so I saw these men that liked me, and then from there I was selective about who I chose, had some conversations. The one thing that you're never gonna believe, and you really need to learn how to trust, is your intuition. You're gonna see some person's profile and you're gonna think to yourself, I don't know, and then you're gonna double think. You'd be like, well, maybe. No. In this process, there's no well maybes. Cut that out of your vocabulary. We're not doing well maybes. If your intuition says no, he gets a swipe. So it is understanding what you like and don't like, and it's trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. If you go on a date and your intuition says, it made me feel uncomfortable when he did X, write that down or jot it down in your mind and just know, hey, I didn't like that. And so when you're dating from a place of detachment, there's no outcome in the end. So there isn't any force to go on second dates if it doesn't feel right. It's completely open. So you're gonna go on lots and lots of dates, be safe, of course, and make sure that you feel comfortable with where you're going. So I went on a lot of restaurant dates that felt very comfortable for me. So I had been doing this for about 9 months, and I hit a point and I kind of just really knew what I was looking for. And so I wrote a love list, and I made sure that this love list had very little to do with physical appearance, but more so how I wanted to feel. And a lot of the ways that I wanted to feel with another person was that I knew intuitively that they were kind and that they would treat me with kindness. And I remember I dated this guy, and he had treated me very well. He was quite wealthy, and he wanted to pay for everything and do everything. And I was like, oh, this is great. This feels really nice. part of this process too is worthiness. And it's realizing you're worthy of good treatment. And so it's allowing, right? That's kind of in the feminine energy thing, is allowing, receiving. It is blocking yourself from taking control all the time and allowing the man to pay for you or to just gratefully receive compliments. That's part of this process too, is worthiness. I believe in the power of law of attraction, manifestation, and what you believe you're worthy of is what you're going to get. And so if you believe you're worthy of a healthy relationship, for me, I know that my output, I am a very kind person. I really care about the people that I'm with. I'm very compassionate. I will do anything to help you. And it's realizing, hey, you actually deserve that being mirrored back to you. So on one of the last guys that I dated before I met my fiance, it was like he was paying for me. He was the wealthy guy that I was telling you about. And I was like, okay, this is really nice, but something felt kind of off and a little bit odd. And we ended up sitting down and communicating about, what expectations looked like for us dating. And the very next day, he broke one of those boundaries. And the it was like a 1 month trying to see if this thing will work, and it ended. And I had no attachment to it, so I wasn't heartbroken. And it's not about being detached in a sense of an unhealthy detachment. It's a detachment of the outcome. You can care about people, you can develop feelings for people, but realizing, hey, not everyone is meant for you. So one of the last stages and one of the last things that you need to know is you need to pick someone out of the box. What that means is you're buying veterinarian Barbie and you're expecting veterinary Barbie to be veterinary Barbie. What you're not doing is buying veterinary Barbie and expecting her to be flight attendant Barbie. And what I mean by this is you're not dating a person to change them. So if you write your love list, you're gonna look for someone who out of the box has your love list. Especially if your love list is feeling based and not appearance based. We don't want a love list of he has to be 6'4" and this color eyes and look like this and do this and yada yada yada. The hobbies don't matter, the profession doesn't matter, it's qualities. So maybe the profession doesn't matter, but ambition matters, right? That's a quality. And so I had written my love list, went on a date with this man, my fiance. And after the date, I wasn't giddy and I wasn't like, oh my God, this is my soulmate. I just looked at my love list and I was like, oh wow, this man checks off everything on my love list. So he went to a second date. It still was this very detached from the outcome situation. And because I knew my worth, because I had detachment, and because I knew the feelings of a person that I was looking for, I ended up meeting my soulmate. I ended up meeting my fiance. And it very seamlessly rolled into us getting engaged and us about to be married. And it was very easy and very seamless. But what that took was, there was one last pivotal point, and it was finding pure love for me and having no need for anything else. I would have this feeling like something was missing, and I could just feel it. And one day I realized, oh my God, that thing you're missing is you. You can fill that hole yourself. And I energetically filled that hole with me. And I loved myself in a very, I'm using my arms because it energetically felt like I was closing a circle, closing a loop. And I finally was able to radiate back the love to myself to where I didn't need another person again. And because I filled that in, the person filled that. It's like I filled it and the person filled it, right? I was able to mirror that love back to me. So I went from complete heartbreak, just a broken place, to an extremely empowered place where I'm now with the love of my life. And hopefully by hearing everything that I went through in the last year, you realize, hey, I can do this too. In 1 year, I can go from a broken 4-year relationship with cheating, infidelity, and abuse to, oh my God, I'm gonna mirror back the love that I have for myself through another person. So, if that resonated, please comment and let me know. I want to build a community here of like-minded people, women, whatever, and we can just come together and empower each other and find our best lives through empowerment and self-love and self-development. So like this video, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I'm excited to meet you, very excited to meet like-minded women. So I'll see you in my next video. Bye.